All right, I have a question. So I just trimmed these two Sengu coral bark maples, and I took some big cuttings, and I'm curious if you can root these like you do root figs. So let's give them a try. Okay, so here's the result of the maple cuttings. Catastrophic failure. I think what happened was way too wet, and I kept it in the greenhouse where it got really hot as well, so it just created this perfect environment for mold and fungus and moss, but not for rooting. So all of these ended up dying. What I learned from this, control the moisture and maybe not bag it up so airtight that the result is this right here. They are all dead. So yeah, first attempt, failure. Okay, so I'm standing right around my compost bin, and I took these cuttings. They're some range in size from about finger size to pencil size, and I want to try to root sizes bigger than usual, just to see. I've cut them down to about 10 inches or so, about a foot, and what I'm going to do is just strip off all of the leaves, and then do a couple other things to it. So let's do this first. Okay, the leaves have been pulled off. I left some of the smaller stems. I don't know. This is an experiment for me. I haven't done this ever before, so the leaves won't do any good. There's no roots right now to support them, and all they'll do is rot and cause mold and cause a higher rate of failure. So what I'm going to do next is actually just cause some damage to the nodes. Most of the time, rooting figs, you get roots that come out of the nodes. I'm going to try to do the same with these maples. I will use rooting hormone. I think that without it, this will be 100% failure. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it down to right below the nodes on each of these. Let's do it now. Okay, and then you see how this already has a little bit of damage around the end of it. I'm going to do the same for all of these other cuttings. So I've learned that from rooting figs, you have to have a really, really clean, sterile environment for them to root in. So I take extra precaution, and I use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide mixed with some antibacterial soap to clean the cuttings prior to putting them in a very humid environment. I took some Clonex and diluted it in a cup of water. I didn't really take exact measurements. And from there, I added the cuttings into the rooted Clonex water and let them sit on a shelf overnight. Here I've used perlite as my medium for rooting and a shoebox. And you got to make sure you clean that shoebox as well. Don't forget to clean the underside of the lid, because if you have any kind of mold spores that have collected inside that shoebox or underside the underside of the lid, it could cause a lot of problems, because if there's just even a little bit of tiny spore of mold in there, it can ruin every single cutting that you have in there, because the environment for rooting cuttings is the same environment that mold likes to live in. So just watch out for that. I stuck these on a shelf by the window, and literally within about 4 weeks, I got roots from a box that I did trident maple cuttings in, and I was really surprised by that. Okay, here's the trident maple cutting that rooted basically just from a cutting, and you can see the leaf node right here, and then it's sprouting out a new node right there as well. So the question is answered. If you want to try rooting at least trident maple cuttings, you can. It's not too hard to do. You just have to keep a very sterile environment for it to grow in, because mold is the number one thing that kills off most of these rooted cuttings. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Until the next time. Bye-bye.